A, it's like your mom's asking me to give you a rite of passage. B, where's your father? C, D, E, I joined the Navy right out of high school because I knew I was either going to find myself in jail, and me not having any faith and only knowing about debauchery and destroying other people's lives as long as it benefited me. Bottle of whiskey and a hot knife.
Heck yeah, let's go. This is the good stuff.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God.
Boom! What's going on, you guys? Here we are, the Man of Peace podcast. I've got Neil Dyer here, someone I've been getting to know lately, a man amongst men, a man of God, and it is an honor to have you, brother. How you holding up out there?
Doing well. Thank you. Thank you very much, Byron. It's been an honor and a pleasure getting to know you as well, man. It's about 20 degrees outside, so hence my my jacket. I'm in the basement. I'm in my little man cave, my office gym.
Yeah.
A little almost Nashville.
Yeah, where you get after it, dude. We just did an awesome podcast episode. It's like a marathon day-long podcast for the Father Foundation in Nashville, Nastyville. It was freezing. You'll see me with a cape on. You know, it was freezing for me. I'm from the Bahamas, you know.
Yeah, you were tropical.
Yeah,
you had a fur. I believe
did.
You had a fur at a moment.
Yeah, it was a lot, man. But it was great. The content was savage. If you guys haven't found that yet, go find it. Father Foundation. A lot of good stuff, man. In fact, I'll put whatever links down in the show notes so people can track it down. And then let's get into your background, man. I want these guys to know, you know, just the things that men are always interested in. What's, you know, your pedigree, lineage, you know, and then we'll direct them to sonship and the Father.
I am recently, I'll kind of backpedal a little bit from where we're at right now. I'm running a nonprofit called Warriors Rise, and it's to man, train, and equip at this point young men to go to hazardous and austere locations, whether that fall into missionaries, like for FBR, Free Burma Rangers, or if it's guys going to special operations or just boot camp, military, or even Home Depot. Young men, more or less, looking for task and purpose in their life at a younger age, you know, at the age where either guys don't have mentors, fathers, role models to look up to, or guys are just pulling out from underneath their dad's wing and developing themselves as their own man. So we pull in a lot of those guys. So that's what we're doing now. I retired in 2020 from the Navy, from the SEAL teams, and we started a nonprofit called Warriors Rest, and that was to help those that confront evil on the front lines. And that took us straight to the lion's den of PTS, TBI, and guys getting wrestled out of their guns from the SEAL Future Foundation, Navy SEAL Foundation, EOD Foundation. It's busy, man. That's busy. That's a lot of work, and it's terrible. That it has to be such relevant work, but it's needed. And for all the foundations and the people out there that are battling that, hats off to them. But I know God has been calling me and my wife and my family to be training. So we had to kind of shift gears a little bit within the last couple months, and the doors have opened. The fruit has been plentiful, and it's amazing. And it's obvious that God has pushed us into the realm of bringing young men up into this world to be warrior priests. And that end game right there, warrior priesthood, is what we're building and we're growing up here in North Idaho. So we retired in 2020, me, my wife, and 5 kids. And I've had 1 kid since we've been up here in the mountains. We have no TV, so gotta find something to do, and spreading the world is just, that's where it's at, man. So it's blessed. So yeah, I joined the Navy.
Let me hop in here real quick. So you hit so much good stuff, bro. Like, okay, so we're raising young men. This is kind of going into one of the things that I've asked guys when I coach with them, when I talk with them. They're like, "Hey, man, I'm trying to find my way." And I'm like, "Do you remember the day that you transitioned, that you became a man? You know, like is there any period of your life that you went through where you feel like you became a man when you killed the boy? You know, when you were able to like rise up and go from what I say is going from being a dependent to becoming dependable. You
Mm,
know, um,
that rite of passage.
yeah, that rite of passage, exactly. You know,
Yep.
and so many of us are just wandering the earth like with a no, you know, and it's so
Seriously.
important. And we'll get into it real quick. Like it's so important for so many reasons, but I would say for me, you know, like when I'm facing life and things and people, sometimes
Mm,
people inside the wire that I love, that love me, are challenging my level of masculine spiritual certainty. Like, hey, we got to go this way, and those challenges are coming, you know, or
mm,
when outside is coming at me and they're like, hey, you know, you're not who you say you are, and all these are, you know, are you who you
mm.
say you are, you know, and
Yep.
all
True
these
colors
things
start
are coming.
flying.
Yeah, you know, and so that layer of my life where that was established, I can go back in my struggle credentials and be like, no, 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 like I've earned this stuff. And then in my daily habits, I continue to earn this stuff by the grace of God. It's a journey. It's
Yeah.
so important. So I just think that that's awesome work. What would you say about the rite of passage topic for masculinity?
We substituted it for trophies. Here's a trophy. Congratulations. You tried out. Here's a trophy. And
Here's
that's
your
been our,
certificate.
yeah.
Certificates, bro. They always get me like, dudes, like, I'm an executive protection agent. I went through a course. I'm like, homie, you were exposed to to training. Like, anyways,
Exactly.
God
You
bless you.
you saw the word training,
Yeah,
obvious dominus. Whoa, I'm qualified.
you got
And
stuff
it
to do,
seems like
bro.
everybody's qualified in everything these days.
Yeah,
And thank you, YouTube, for making that possible.
yeah,
But it's the rite of passage. I never had it. In one
yeah.
a big moment in my life, I was in the teams
Uh-huh.
down in San Diego. This lady from church, she approached me and she's like, Neil, I know you got a Bible study with some of the guys at, in the congregation. Can you take my son and, I don't know, give him a rite of passage?
I don't know. You're like, this is a
It
big
put me on
thing.
my heels.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. It's like,
it put me
it's
on
like
my heels.
birthing a man. You know?
Yeah, and A, it's like your mom's asking me to give you a rite of passage. B, where's your father? C, D, E, like I've got a bag full of questions on what is wrong right now.
Yeah,
Like
we got
it
you.
was interesting. So I said yes, super
Uh-huh.
confused, and just kept going with it.
Yeah,
I didn't know what to do. I've never had it. I was like, I can give them a hell week because that's the best thing I can relate to.
yeah,
That helped me figure myself out.
yeah.
So we just hazed them. Is it
Well,
good? Bad? I
I
don't
think there's something in men that kind of almost organically understand that what young men really need a little bit, like to the level of flesh, like you know, like just to the level of masculinity, not
I want
spiritual
my
development. You know what I mean? But like, there's something in the big brother that knows I got to rough this little guy up. You know what I'm saying?
blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat,
Yeah,
and
man,
tears.
that's
And
funny.
that's where you'll get to the bone and the marrow very quickly.
Yeah, bro.
So yeah, the rite of passage, that was kind of a shocker for me. And then I found myself on my only deployment in the SEAL teams as a believer. And I made it a point to read through the whole Bible on that deployment and practice spiritual disciplines, looking them up, seeing what it was and practicing them. So I got into fasting. I got into a lot
Yeah,
of praying and reading through the Bible. That was tough. It was a legit 6-month deployment, and we got through it. And I prayed a lot, and a lot of my prayers, like there's one prayer session I had that I kind of came to in tears on the floor, and it was youth. Like youth was just all over it, like in images of what would look like a rite of passage. And so we've been doing that. We've been doing it up here in the last few months, and that's what feels so like physically freeing and spiritually freeing from what we were doing with Warriors Rest, which was a beautiful thing. But now it's like, okay, God's like, you guys, you and your wife, your family, your kids, like it's time to start doing this different mission set in the training aspect. And it's beautiful because now we can still train cops, we can still train military, we can still train at whatever level we want to, because I'm just bringing these guys alongside. I do a thing once a month with these dudes. Like this Friday, we're actually teaching them mountaineering. You're more than welcome to jump in. We're going to camp in the snow. You're going to love it. I know it. But
I'm praying about it.
Fast on that one.
Right.
But we have this mentorship weekend what we give these guys, but we can still come bring in like anybody that's wanting the training. They come alongside, and now they're like our little, instructor helpers, or we just throw them in.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's a big concept of what we're doing with Warriors Rise is getting those missionaries in and sprinkling them in with other training venues so that we can bone them up on, austere mission sets.
Yeah.
And that's just an addition to it.
What would you say to like a guy who's maybe around our age, dude, that's just lived in a in a cubicle his whole life, or just been around like this morning? Okay, this morning I was in the gym, bro. And I'm in the gym and I'm ready, dude. I'm ready. Like I've been getting to a level where I can actually work out to praise and worship music. I wasn't never at this level before. Like me and God, we got a thing going right now. We're doing he's here right now. And but anyways, usually I'm listening to death metal. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm listening to music to where
die.
Yeah, if you heard my music, you'd be like, are you sure he's like it's this? I found this Christian music just so hard. You know what I'm saying? Like you question my salvation. You know what I'm saying? I love every minute. Anyway, so nah, man. So but then my head, I'm in between songs, and all of a sudden I'm hearing like I think it was like Coldplay, like and it was like da, 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 take it back to the start. Like I was like, and I mean I heard
405 up, baby.
Oh yeah, I heard it. And I was like, this is so horrible. In the gym where we're supposed to be, this is the only place where you can be a man because you can't hurt nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, this is what it's like to be in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like last night we were looking for I was looking for a video, something to watch with my wife, and she's just sitting there watching me, and I'm like everything's gay. Like everything's gay. Like I love everybody. I'm not me, but I mean it's all gay, bro. Like I got like female action heroes. Like there's no masculinity.
Oh, dude,
like if you weren't deliberate about it, you might not have it. So
yeah,
long way of asking. What would you say about, to a guy who's sitting there and he's like, dude, I just don't feel like a man. How would you steer that guy, Like I just don't do.
Have you ever been hit in the face, sir?
Yeah, I know, man.
Let's put on some. So last winter, right? You learn a lot about somebody.
It's a thing. You learn a lot about yourself when you get hit in the face.
Yeah. We actually were doing something like that last winter.
Uh-huh.
So we've been working and training at this facility called Boulder Creek Retreat, which wonderful facility. It's like multi-million-dollar facility. Used to be a troubled youth school, and now we're turning it into like a Christian war. Or not, I can't even say it. That sounds terrible. We're bringing in Free Burma Rangers, the guys that want to go to Free Burma Rangers. We are vetting them there, and we're doing just like man courses and stuff. So we're doing a lot of vetting there. It's an awesome place. We just did a 4-day podcast with SPKN, which is a sports network media programming. Yeah, it's kind of cool because they're trying to mix the military leadership with the sports leadership and cross-modulate with all of that radical stuff. It was really cool.
So, and then we'll dive back into your history because you have a lot of awesome stuff in terms of masculine development and all that stuff. But so for that guy who's kind of like, man, like I don't know where my masculinity is. I know for me, it's a journey, it's like, it's not like you don't just go to one of these things and then you're a man, it's like, I'm going to start killing my weaknesses. I'm going to start, go ahead.
Yeah. Killing idols is what it is, honestly. And so we had this, we've got this facility. I started hanging up the bags. I'm like, let's test this out. Let's get young men in here and just give them boss rooting. We'll give them boss rooting, and then we'll get those rules for a warrior priest. I think I put together a little scrapbook thingy for you.
We're going to get to that. I'm taking notes.
And we started doing that. So we'd hit the bag, we'd sweat it out, we'd cry a little because I'd yell at some guys a little bit, like hit it harder, and teach them how to box. Yeah. And then we would go over rules for a warrior priest, it was amazing stuff. I got more out of that from the dads because I told dads, hey, come on in. Yeah, jump in with me, instruct with me, but I'm going to box with you half hour prior. And having these dads teach their sons, that was eye-opening for me. And these guys just need to get out and do something. And honestly, like the guys that aren't working out, like shame on you. Straight up shame on you for not getting out there and getting your knuckles bloodied a little bit, or getting calluses on your hand, or sweating and putting out. We need it. We have to. It's the sweat of our brow that we were cursed to love. And the women love childbirth, man. And it's, if you're not doing it, you're going to fall even darker and darker and darker. And so what I would say to those guys that just feel completely hopeless and lost at their cubicle, they need to get their blood flowing. And with that blood flow, and just give it to the King of Kings and seek his kingdom. And I people will into place to help and mentor and bring you alongside. How many guys have you talked to that you totally could have been like best friends with at the gym? So like kind of on a timeline, but you know, gyms, I've met a lot of cool people at the gym.
100%.
A lot of people that are wanting
100%.
Yeah, man. So
I think that answer doesn't get enough like credence. It's super, like, that's really there's so much of it that is just like out of this physical development, like this habit of sharpening your physical body, your asset, you get developed in the soul. Your mind, will, your emotions get stronger. It gets healthier. You're unlocking positive endorphins in your body. You're teaching yourself that you can on a regular basis. Just the act of instilling enough discipline to get there and be consistent, that is so much for your psychology. And then for you to now start to watch yourself become stronger, like what this is doing for you before we even get all the way to the spirit level, which is the ultimate game. This is really how you cultivate confidence, and confidence comes from experience with self. What's your experience with self? The reason you back down whenever, you know, the wife or someone or something out here hits you, because you don't know who you are, because you don't have a relationship with yourself that tells you that you can be trusted, or that you can, you know, like you are a man of integrity, you know? So when something checks you, you're like, okay, I don't even know, you know, I'm not, you know, and it's not weird. It's like math, bro. Then the more you start proving yourself to yourself, like, you know what, I am trustworthy. You know what, I can do some stuff, and I am dependable. I'm dependable for me first. The whole thing starts with you. And then you start to be like, no, I'm this guy now, you know, and things start to change, man. Then you got to make sure you don't make it an idol. We'll get to that part.
Exactly. I've seen guys' lives changed for significantly better when they start like either
working out,
jiu-jitsu or boxing, or just really working out. There's guys that'll do like a couple push-ups and a couple sit-ups, like, cool, I worked out. It's like, no, you got to really, because you're sweating and you're sweating out toxins.
Weakness.
You're die weakness. No, it just can't talk enough about it. I've been working out for my whole life, so
it's a way of life. 100% way of life. What would you say? Okay, so let's go. Let's get back into, because I want to hit on these spiritual disciplines. You guys got to realize there's a major correlation between becoming strong physically and these physical disciplines that we have that make us more savage than most people, and then the spiritual disciplines, and understanding who you are and cultivating strength, a measure of faith, increasing your measure of faith. This is the working out is like a principle in both of these realms and in the soul realm. But anyways, before we get to that, I want to get into your past, man, a little bit more, you know, SEAL team, cool guy, super more tactical than me and everyone else, you know, what was your arc through there? Where did God show up? What were some struggles that guys can relate to? And all that stuff.
So I didn't grow up in faith. I'm one of 5 kids, and there was zero faith in the household, in the life at all. I've heard the name of Jesus, and that was it. So I didn't have any care about it. I joined the Navy right out of high school because I knew I was either going to find myself in jail, or dead, or just a junkie, man. Like, honestly, That's always my options. It was to the point I went to the Navy recruiter, and the only reason I went to the Navy recruiter is because my stepdad was like, I was in the Navy during Vietnam for 4 years, and just I did debauchery 1, debauchery 2, debauchery 3. It's gonna be great. You'll love it. I'm like, yeah, jackpot.
Yeah, debauchery.
Yeah, let
That's
debauchery.
awesome.
Let the debauchery pay me to do it, and that's how I ran it, man. Like, and so my first few years was just that at 18 years old. But I mean, it was to the level of I joined the Navy. The Navy said, you qualify for 3 jobs there, home skilly. Which one would you like? I was like, I don't like any of them. What else can I do? They were terrible.
Yeah, they were
like,
you were like, I have to become a SEAL. That is the only I have. You know, or I'll be peeling paint. Those paint chipper guys, I was afraid of. That was one thing I was like, I can't. You got to be.
I was a bosun mate. He's like, here's the best one. You get to choose any rate you want. Yeah. Undesignated seaman. Bam. I'm like, yeah.
Liars, bro. They're so evil.
No, he was right. He was accurate, but the truth is in the detail, man.
Yep.
So I ended up doing that. But the funny thing about all of this is I shouldn't have, I don't qualify to be in the military based on my criminal record, based on my ASVAB, based on my lack of color vision. I am still to this day colorblind.
Yeah.
And really? the amount of cigarettes I smoked and the alcohol I was drinking at my age, underage, they let me in. I'm like, cool, I'm in. Far out. Let's continue the lifestyle I'm in.
Yeah. Slaying bodies, homie. Let's go.
Yeah. And so I didn't care. And that's where my life was. Like, I didn't care. I needed to get out. I had to get out of what I was doing to break this rhythm, to break this routine. I knew I was going to be a loser, and I didn't want that. And it was honestly, it was God the whole time. Hindsight being 2020, it was God the entire time, just inching me along, just giving me a crumb at a time, and not telling me that, you know, it was him. So it's very interesting as I look
waiting around the corner for you, and he's gonna get you. That's always how it is.
Like, I do it with my kids. I'm like, is he gonna take it? He took it. Okay.
Okay, here he comes.
I'm gonna come get him.
No. And it's sure also it's awesome though, man. Like that you realize that. Like for me, it was the same thing. Like I was like, how am I ever gonna become a man or anything amazing or anything like respectable? You know, and that's what drew me in. I was like, I'm gonna go to war. Iraq's happening. My dad's too awesome. I don't know how I'm ever going to catch up with him, but one thing he ain't done, he ain't gone to war. And that was my whole rationale, bro. Anyways, continue.
Gunplay. So there I am. Now I'm in the fleet. I didn't care. Like, I guess I was having fun. You know, I was paying bills and learning
and stuff
about things, debauchery, like heathen, pagan, all of it, just bad. And then I see a frogman. I see a Navy SEAL come onto the boat at some point. I think we're in Okinawa. And I was just like, who's this dude? Like, what are these guys? I didn't know what Navy SEALs were. Like, only thing I knew about Navy SEAls was Charlie Sheen. And that was,
you were like super educated.
Real good. And so I see this guy, and it hit like a ton of bricks on my face. And I just couldn't shake it. I was like, I'm looking into it. And I just started looking into it and training for it and all that stuff. I realized I'm colorblind. I find out that I'm color. Well, I knew I was colorblind, but I'm realizing like that's the requirement. I can't put in a waiver. I can't do all these things. And I've already like took it to a certain level. And so I just kind of give up on it. And I start like, well, special programs, there's a lot of stuff. I was going for diver and like hanging out with the dive locker and learning deep sea and all that stuff. And then a guy out of my unit, he ended up going, he's like, hey, I passed my color vision. I was like, well, I guess I'll go try it again. And I went and took it. I passed. I have never in my life passed that except for that one time before I even went in, and it didn't matter. And now, like, I retook my ASVAB, so I passed with a waiver. I passed my color vision, and somehow they just looked over my criminal history. I'm now at this point. I submitted my package, and I'm off to Buds here in like 2 weeks. I'm with the dive locker. We go snowboarding. I dislocate my shoulder and completely destroy my right shoulder. I'm like, sweet.
So you're in your mind, you're like, I've got a silver bullet. Like they made the mistake. This is my one shot. I'm going all the way or I'm dying. And then phew, you're snowboarding and bam, the whole thing.
It was one of those big jumps too.
Like the Moby song.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was one of those big jumps, 360 spinning. Oh no, bam, land on my shoulder. I can't move it. I can't do a push up.
Can't even make it.
No, dude, no way getting around it, man. And so I was just like, well, that's over. At least I got orders. It gets me out of here. So I'm going to go to San Diego and see what happens. Yeah. See how the buffs out. And sure enough, day one in buds, first phase, Dyer, Roger that. I couldn't do dips. Like it wasn't working. And I just like kind of forcing myself like, Dyer, Roger that. You're mine. Woohoo.
Yeah.
And I'm just like,
eat you alive now.
Yeah. And I'm the tallest guy in the class day one already at 6'5". Hey, buddy. Yeah, they were headhunting for me for sure. And I mean, but sure enough, I was just like, well, I'll just make it till lunch if I can.
Yep.
I'm sure I'm not coming back tomorrow. And then sure enough, boom, boom, boom. And that's part of the testimony. I was never meant to join the Navy, let alone go to special operations. My color vision stopped me at the door. My record should have stopped me at the door. And then my shoulder surgery. And not the surgery yet, but the shoulder injury, I started smoking again. I was like half a pack to almost a pack a day between my shoulder injury and checking into buds for first phase. And I'm like, okay.
You still went with your shoulder blown out. And
somehow, I had orders, so I was like, whatever, let's go.
Yeah. And you stayed in, you made it, you like survived with this injury, or did you wash out and come back? Or
I made it all the way through first try.
My freaking God.
I didn't get dropped. I didn't get rolled. The guys in Hell Week, and that's when I really felt it in my shoulder, was day one of Hell Week.
Yeah.
Where it's up log. And then I was like trying to get my arm up. I couldn't get my arm up. So the guy behind me is pulling my arm up every time we got boats overhead, logs overhead. And so I can't give any glory. I cannot take any type of credit for any of that. There was no way, shape, or form that I should have even joined the Navy, let alone retired as in a leadership position from the SEAL teams. And then I retired out of first phase as the LCPO of first phase, which was just
break that down for everybody.
That was amazing. That ability to actually give back and be there and see the guys who are struggling and be able to, now that I'm with my faith at first phase, at the opposite end of it, no faith, sucking, at the other end with faith and helping. It was unbelievable as I put it kind of all together. And then I would do exit interviews. Anytime anybody would quit in first phase up through Hell Week, I would be like, let me do the exit interview. Let me do the exit interview. And I got to ask him some questions. And then I take the hat off. Mike, Seaman Bob, I'm not Chief Dyer anymore. I'm Neil. And this is what I see in you. And then boom, I deliver.
Oh, no.
Yeah. I'd deliver. And then I'd put them in touch with a buddy that was in town that was taking in the bud students, taking them to church, praying with them, getting them coffee and pizza, and just being there with them. So that was absolute 1,000% divine intervention with what God wanted to do with me and my walk and my path. Cause I got saved in 2015. By coincidence, I got a trip to Israel for 30 days to do some work.
So real quick before we go into that, so you break through buds, broken shoulder. First of all, you shouldn't have got in the Navy because you're a dang criminal. then you get in, then you're colorblind, and then you end up getting through that. Basically, you were ordained, like it had been written long ago that you were going to be a SEAL. That's just
since the formations of the earth. Hey,
yeah, since before the foundations of the earth, and then you get through training with this massive physical injury. Satan's like, yo, we're going to give him a physical injury and see if, and that's the thing. I think like in life, you get these adversities, man. And I've been in so many places where my tribe is like, yo, like, okay, I guess we're done. And I'm like, nah, bro, No, bro. Like this last year, I had good friends be like, "You should just file for bankruptcy," and like family members being like, "Just
Jeez.
file for bankruptcy," and I'm like, "No, no, like God's trying to do something. Well, I'm gonna just tap out like you people. I love you. You know what? You mean
I
well.
love you.
You mean well. I'm gonna listen to him and like
Yeah.
stratospheric victory. I'm not putting. I mean, it's amazing the testimony. But anyways, so. So then you get through all of this, and then the full circle of it is you end up as an instructor at first phase of buds, where guys are probably washing out at the highest velocity, and
Oh, yeah.
these are going to be huge, massive openings in their life and in their psychology after they've fallen, essentially psychologically. And now you're there to coach them through that a little bit, insert God, and minister to these guys at their lowest hour of their probably of their life, so other than like a massive divorce in 20 years.
I was not expecting the amount of tears.
Yeah.
I was going into that. It was crazy. Really broke my heart, man. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, you're idolizing this man.
Yeah.
Stop it. It's a job. It'll come and it'll go. Oh, yeah. That's
what was the, I don't know, it's all good stuff, man. It's awesome stuff. So where would you go? Like, what about you getting saved, man? These guys like you always are kind of interesting to me. Like I grew up with Jesus. Like I grew up, Holy Spirit is your guide, your best friend. Humans, you can't count on them, but the Holy Spirit's gonna be with you. You know, and that was my childhood. But like you hadn't really been in church. It sounds like at some point you got saved. How was that? How did that happen? What did that look like?
bottle of whiskey and a hot knife.
Heck yeah, let's go. This is the good stuff. You know.
My wife, huge proponent to my salvation, but my oldest son, Landon, adopted nephew, he was the hinge point of that tool for that this happening.
Transformation.
My wife went to a Christian school in San Diego her entire life, but she never was actually told the gospel. She thought she had an understanding and a relationship with Christ, but that hasn't, not so much.
Religion or something. So a lot of times that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's just religion. You know, it's
not
relationship. It gets in the way of relationship, actually. But anyways,
yeah, it was just like this box full of something that's supposedly goodness, but every time she looked in it, it's empty.
Yeah.
Like that's what she had, and so she walked away. And I met her like right after I graduated SQT, got my orders to SEAL Team 5. I'm like ready to change the world, like alone and unafraid. And then I met her, and then we just, there it was. So we ran around and just partied it up like rock stars. And she walked again completely away from the faith, and me not having any faith and only knowing about debauchery and destroying other people's lives as long as it benefited me. I began, messing around on her even through the point of marriage, because we got married before I got saved, and I had just been cheating on her the entire time, well over a decade worth of adultery with my wife on every trip that I'd take, every deployment that I'd be on, like just find something and just whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. And, standard dude stuff. Standard like American
cool dude,
strong
like
guy
garbage.
Dude stuff. Not even really weird.
The Viking way.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, that Thor stuff really, really, really gets under my skin. So yeah, there we are. Just living the dream on the cusp of divorce, and I'm in Afghanistan. I screened for development group or Team 6, and I'm waiting to come back from Afghanistan to go to the command for a green team selection process of development group. I had already gotten accepted, and it's just like a waiting game till I get there and get after it. And my wife is telling me, good luck, have fun. I'm like, whoa, lady, what are you talking about? Like, what does this mean?
You're like, I didn't know you were that angry. Like, like, what is the okay, I guess it's serious. What do you need?
Yeah, man, it was. And again, here's another huge part in my life where 2020, hindsight's 2020, God just dropped that little pin drop on me because I started talking to my command master chief, who we call Crazy Indian, because he called in ordnance on himself when he was at Dev Group. Jody McIntyre.
Just so you guys know, that is absolutely mortifying. Like I can't describe to you. Like, I think of all the things I've seen during my time on the planet, there's like, we can't fathom God's awesomeness, but the closest thing to the hand of God is calling in an airstrike. Yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, yeah, I mean, even, you know, like,
he was overrun. Yeah, he was completely overrun, and he's just like, "Send it, man. It's go time. I got to go."
Yeah,
and he survived it.
And he woke up.
He's a crazy Indian. And so there I am in Afghanistan. He's visiting our site. We're doing operations together. Radical dude. I talked to him. I'm like, I mean, you know, I got orders, Jody. Like you assisted, you helped me get orders to Dev Group, and you vouched for me. Like, but here's my wife. Like, I want to have a family, and she's leaving me. Like, I go home, she's leaving me because I'm going to Green Team. He says, Neil, I got a ex-wife that hates my guts. I got a daughter that won't talk to me, and I've got a son that's doing a life sentence in prison because I loved this job. I idolized it, Neil, and it just like blew my doors off. I'm heathen as all get out, and I he is too, as far as I know. And that was it. I was like, I need to cancel my orders, Master Chief. And he was like, Roger that. And then I got ostracized hard, like by a lot of people.
Yeah, and then the boys were like, you.
Yeah, but I didn't care. I'm like, dude, I'm about to like lose
my... I got to keep the main thing, guys. Interesting.
Seriously, and guys just don't care about it. It's like, whatever, dude, get another one. Like, I don't know what it is. It's not like that. I don't. And that was God. That was God just hitting it on my heart. Like, you do it, and I'm going to bust you up so bad.
Yeah.
I come back from Afghanistan. Me and my wife, she set up she's like, okay, let's work on things. Let's do things. Thank you for canceling, I guess. But I was really ready to divorce you.
She's like, but yeah. Does this mean I have to stay now?
Yeah, exactly. And told you.
You better stay. I swear. Oh man.
Get this. This is how terrible I was. Like when I met her, I told her, hey babe, I love you. Yeah. Don't worry about anything. Just know that the job is number one. Yeah. You're number two.
Okay.
We'll see you later. I'm going to work now. Yeah. So that was the relationship that we had. So now I'm back. I fly back. She sets up a backpacking trip in Europe for us. Huge, awesome, like military hop flight. So a free flight to Europe.
Nice.
And we're just backpacking, getting the crush. It was radical. I get a call from my sister because we set up the international plan. My brother just committed suicide.
I knew there was a punchline coming. I could feel that one. You're like, things are good.
We got to London, and a guy that was in a new guy in Afghanistan with me. He's in London, and he's like, hey, let's link up. So we're having a good old time. I get the call. I'm like, all right, Red Cross message, let's go. And then we flew straight back home. I went straight to New Mexico to see him. They kept him on life support for a couple more days so I could say goodbye. Oh. And then I got to meet my nephew for the first time with his tweaker, drug addict, fleshy sack of what they call a mother. And it kind of sucked. It was pretty terrible. So we're there for a week. We get to know Landon, and she's out partying and whoring it up, like doing whatever she's doing because she's terrible. So
she is, yeah.
Yeah. So me and my family, we kind of came up with this plan, like, how are we going to get Landon? Okay, this and that. Yeah. Everybody's like, oh, well, my plan's here. I got to go by. And like, nobody follows through with anything. And I'm just sitting here super mad. And I don't even say anything to my wife. I'm just looking at her. She's looking at me, and we're both just kind of like nodding our heads. Like,
how old is Landon at this time again?
8 months. 8 months. Like cradle cat baby.
Oh, so we can't leave this kid under the charge of like this is like witnessing a crime. Like you can't now. You have to do something. Like now I have to do something. I put here to do something.
Me and my wife, my warrior priestess. There was no word said about any of it. It's like,
Just knew what we
cancel the
needed to do.
flight, rent me a truck, rent me and rent a trailer. We're going to her house. And I got landed. We drive with this newly rented truck and trailer. I already canceled the flight, and I go up to her house. I kick in her door, and she's hammered like in puke stains on the couch. And Landon is in the pack and play, or with like dog hair and feces, and just it was pretty terrible. And I kind of kicked the couch. I was like, "You're getting up right now. Get up right now." And I looked at her mom. I was like, "You're watching Landon. You better watch him well." And I told Chrissy, "Get up right now. You're coming to the truck." And we drove to a coffee shop, and I gave her the ultimatums of, Landon is going with me right now. You're going with me and Landon right now, or I'm calling CPS every waking moment of my life until you are in jail and he is in my custody. Do you understand the words that came out of my mouth?
Yeah. Do you understand the words? Awesome.
She kind of did, because she was like, "Okay, I'll go with you." She's 30. She's 32 years old. Still has braces because she had them on when she was like 15, and just decided she just wait for them to fall off. That kind of like, this is the whole series of discussions that we could get into on this.
Yeah. There's a rabbit hole not worth going down, but we get it. We get it. Anyway.
So she said she agreed that, like, okay, I'll come with you with Landon. I think this is a change for the best. I'm like, fantastic. Thank you for keeping me out of jail. And I gave her an hour. I packed up the U-Haul trailer and the truck and grabbed everything we could. Now we're off on the road to San Diego. So back home, didn't last very long. She ended up saying, "Yes, you can have them." We adopted them. Navy SEAL Foundation helped us out on most all of that. And she ended up, a bunch of bad things happened, and she's no longer in the house with us. She went back. But now Mom and I are mom and dad, 0 to parents, in a sign of a piece of paper.
Yeah.
So at that point, Denise is like, "I'm going back to church. I have no idea what to do or how to be a mom or any of that stuff. Like, I'm going back to church." I'm like, "Cool, whatever." I'm not.
That's how it starts. That's how it starts. He be sending these women in there to get us, bro. Like, it's actually,
I mean,
it works, man. I've seen so many strong dudes, man. You know,
well,
it works the other way around, though, too. If you look at Solomon, it also works the other way around for you guys to be just thinking you can snatch up these pagan breezies and it's going to work out for you. This whole unequally yoked thing is a thing. You'll get drug in the wrong direction just as quick as you can get drug in the right. When we have dominion, women have influence. You got to understand, man. They influence whether you like it or not. Something to it.
Oh, man. Yeah. No, that's so accurate. Thank you for explaining that, man. So yeah, now we got Landon. She's going to church. I'm skydiving and going to the range on Sundays. Like, whatever, I don't care. I'm not going to church. And then finally, I'm like, okay,
I'm fine.
Yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm good. I'm perfect.
Yeah.
I don't need nothing. I end up going to church. I'm like, fine, I'll be the dad that, and I remember the dude that's actually on our board right now for the nonprofit. He was at the doorway like, "Hey brother, you want to come in and like hang out and get with the guys?" I'm like, "I'm just here for them, dude. Like, get off me."
Like, just stop. Yeah.
Don't talk to me anymore, man.
I love it.
Anyways, like, we get in there and I start going a little bit more. I'm feeling like real itchy, literally sweating every time. Like, I can't explain it. Like, I was literally sweating every time, and I just couldn't do it. So there was demons. Absolutely.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Plenty.
Yep.
Plenty going on inside this little vessel of woe. And so I'm going to church now kind of regularly with her, still hate every moment of it for a couple months now, to the point where Denisa, she's got all of her like church friends and they're all praying for me all the time. They're getting their husbands to come in. They're reading them in. They're praying for me. Now. I talked to guys like 3 years.
Yeah.
I talked to guys like 3 or 4 years later, and they're like, "Neil, man, I prayed for you for like 2 years." Like, woo!
You're like,
"Dude, that's such commitment, bro." Like, wow, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, now since I canceled my orders to green team, they're all like, "No, you can't come back to 5. You're going to the worst job in the teams. You're taking over dive." I'm like,
taking over what? Taking over
the dive cell.
Okay.
You guys hate diving, just so you know. It's wet. It's cold. It's not fun. So yeah, I was like, whatever. I had that coming. It's
Just
fine.
write it out.
I'm a dad now. I get some downtime. This is kind of cool. I'll figure this out. Dive Cell's like, we're advancing the diving community. We need to go send you to Israel to see how they're diving. I'm like, okay.
I guess I'm going to Israel.
Yeah. And they're like,
Which
we're
is
giving
pretty
you 30
dope.
day
I love
orders.
going out there.
Oh, dude. They sent me and 2 other Christians.
Oh. So like I've noticed
like,
this thing.
This is gonna suck.
Yeah, you're like, oh, we're not gonna have that much fun. We're gonna have no fun, guys.
So it pushed me to the levels like, you know what? I'm gonna stay sober. I heard a lot about this Israel place. It's been noted as pretty historical for a thing or two. And so I decided to stay sober. The one trip of my entire career I stayed sober for, and I went with a couple Christians, and they're like, you're not a believer. They're like, well, what do you want to do while we're here? I'm like, teach me something.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's run around. Like, I'm curious. Sure. Tell me about it. I'm with you. So like, let's be buddies.
Yeah.
And yeah. So now fast forward just a little bit, we come back, we changed the schedule. They had us doing the schedule that was like soup to nuts, like 12-hour days. Like we were back in buds again. And we looked at it like, we're not want to toot our own horns, but we're seasoned operators.
Like adults. Yeah.
No, dude. So we changed the schedule. We went into work like twice a week. The rest of the time was us sightseeing the entire time with a tour guide and a car. And we saw it all like 3 times.
Yeah.
Now I'm back stateside. I'm still going to church with Denisa, but I'm still like, I'm still fighting. I watched The Passion while I was over in Israel. So like now I've got an idea and a visual of like the story conceptually. And I used to have this thing where I would, a good buddy of mine died in extortion flight. And in the SEAL teams, you get a K-bar when you graduate buds. And that K-bar, Marine Corps K-bar, has a seal on it with a KIA. And in what operation he was on. And so extortion was a dev group. Gold Squadron went down hard, and Jesse Pittman was on that flight. And that Master Chief, Jody McIntyre, the crazy Indian, he gave me Jesse Pittman's K-bar. And there I am in my backyard, had a fire. A couple buddies came over, having some cold daddies and kicking it. They end up leaving, and I bust out the whiskey. This is what I do. This is my time. This is my church, my spirituality, and my relationship with whatever and however many that need to be, appeased. And I threw that knife in the fire, and I would cook myself, and I would burn my chest for my brother, for my brothers, for my dad, and like all the people that I've lost my entire life. Like that was my sorrow, and that was me burning it out of my flesh. And a handle of whiskey back. Just that's what I would do. Mm-hmm. That K-bar sits on the glove box or on my dashboard of my truck right now. And Denisa comes out, and it's like 2:00 in the morning. It's like, why? What are you doing? You smell like chicken. Like, yeah. Yeah, I kind of do.
Like, that's actually burning flesh, but it's fine.
That's right. I'm on
to you, it's chicken. It's fine.
She's like, quit it. Just come inside, take a shower, just quit it. Stop it, Neil. And I go inside, and I'm in my birthday suit, naked as the day that I came into this world. And I drop to my knees with my wife right next to me, and I lose it. And I sober up instantly. Because at that moment I said, like, F it, dude. I'm done. I quit. And I rang out on myself, and I rang out on this world. I rang out on Vikings and ninjas and pirates and all the things that I thought were cool. I was like, I have no idea what to expect next, or how it's going to happen, or who or what. But I know, and I think we had discussed this, like, how was it? How did I know that Christ is real? How do I know that my salvation was real? I didn't, but I realized that I needed to find out. And I realized that he was. Because the second I sobered up and I said, F me, I love you, and I don't even know you. And I took that step off the cliff right then and there in faith, knowing that I said, Lord, I have so many questions. but I am faithful that I'm willing and ready to take this step right now. And I know you'll get them answered. I know you'll answer them for me, because I'm done. I'm done with me. I can't do it anymore. And I don't want to do it anymore. And so I took that step. I'm sober and I'm naked as the day I came out. And like 2 weeks later, one of my best friends came over. We went over to his house for dinner because my wife is like talking with his wife and they're praying for me. And now this dude, he was the guy I was sending people to when I retired out of the teams. After I was giving them that exit interview, I would send them to Nate.
Okay. And Nate would kind of triage.
Nate was the dude that was like right here and like, hey man, you're new to the faith. Yeah. We got up at 5 o'clock Monday through Friday and we went through word. We would work out and we would get into the word. And I had every single question I had. Boom, Nate, what about answer? Boom, he had it. So very important for any of those guys that are like teetering or new in the faith or just getting there. If you do not have a strong mentor and a knowledgeable, solid theological mentor, like find one ASAP, pray, get on your knees, fast and pray for a mentor to come into your life and lead you in this. It's so very important. And without that, who knows what would have happened. Yeah. So that was me coming to faith, and now we're running a nonprofit up here in North Idaho. Still involved with Nate, still involved with guys in the teams. We're pushing into special forces, recon guys, and we're getting them up here, and we're now having these guys, these operators, these dumpster fire of guys that either don't have faith or just like got really hurt mentally or physically. They're helping us do the Warriors Rise on these 3-day nights. I've got prospects coming through 3-day nights. Now I've got these old seasoned salty operators telling them what not to do or helping them. They're now cadre with me. And so we've got this full circle of like guys wanting to do what we were doing. And then the guys that just got done, now they're like finding task and purpose. Yep.
Which is what keeps you alive.
Yes. And it goes back to that IBM computer guy, the screen watcher. Like, what do I do? A, get out of your chair. B, get hit in the face. Go tell someone you're fat or something. No.
I mean, just get moving, man. That's awesome, dude. And I love that you kind of took us through this whole journey, like what it looked like, these different stages and phases, because everyone's somewhere on that trajectory that hasn't come. It's funny when I can tell the Holy Spirit's tagged somebody. There's certain people. I got money, man. I got money. Joe Rogan's been tagged, bro. Once I start to see certain behaviors, man, you guys heard it here first, yo. Pray for Joe Rogan. He's been tagged. He's coming in. Holy Spirit's gonna get him. I know it, dog. Once they say a couple things or they do a couple. There's a curiosity, and I'm like, it's over, bro. You can run if you want to. You're just gonna be tired when he gets you, bro. Anyway, but it's awesome that you and you talked about that moment where you fell to your knees. And in my testimony, there's a similar moment where I just was like, well, golly, man, and it's so funny, the Bible talks about how our names are written in the Lamb's Book of Life before the foundation of the earth. Like, this was always the plan. Now we're down here on this timeline walking it out. So we don't know what's going to happen. We're over here freaking out. God's like, bro, I wrote the story, dude. Just chill out. Keep your faith where it's supposed to be. And you're like, oh my gosh, but he knew all
but I'm in debt.
Yeah, exactly, man. And it's just so cool to see how things play out, man. We're walking this life, and how he has these plans for us, man. And the moment in my testimony that was super similar was I had a moment where I just was like, dude, I'm not a good God. If I continue on this path, this is going to end badly. I've been so blessed up until this point, and I might ruin everything if I continue just trying to be God. But then there's the other side, and that's the scary side, which is but what am I going to do? Only have sex with one woman the rest of my life and be a happy wife, be one of these guys at church? I don't think I can do that. And God's like, You can't do it, bro. That's why I'm here. Like everything I ask you to do is you're gonna need me to help you. That's what we're doing, you know. And I'm like, and I remember being like, God, you're gonna have to be God, man, because I don't know if I can live this basic, normal, good, nice guy life. And
nice guy
there's this, yeah, right. There's this moment, you know, and it sounds like you had that moment where you were like, dude, I wrung out on myself. I got nothing. I've tried it my way.
Yeah, I went hard, and I knew that now I've got a kid, and it's like a wife that I do love. I do love her,
which is scary. That's super scary.
Yeah, because it's like, what will I not do for her?
Yeah,
and him, and now we're at 6 kids. Now it's like, what will I not do for all of them? It's like,
it's
battle.
Well, and the other thing I like to illuminate too in guys' lives is like that path when I was playing God was like for sure headed towards death, destruction of everything. He had given me a beautiful wife. He'd given me all this favor. You know, I'm traveling at a high level doing executive protection, like at a level that I should not have been at 21 years old. Like, anyways, so, but like I could have ruined that with my ego and me trying to be the man. I submitted it to him. And then what I've got now is like the craziest adventure meets the most like protected, guarded, wholesome stability. You know what I mean? Like I got, you know what I mean? And guys I interview, I feel like it's the same thing. Like there's a stability, there's a beauty, like there's a peace. You have 6 kids, you got a wife. You know, of course there's ups and downs and all this stuff, you know, like whether you have money or not, you're blessed. You know what I mean? Like, anyways, is that like also something you're experiencing, or?
I know I'm blessed, and when we pray at meals, we pray at every single meal. Yeah. I truly put my heart on the table and thank him as for being a sovereign God, the creator of creation, as a creature, just practicing my creature drills and giving it to our creator. And I am thankful for the roof over my head. And, you know, we're nonprofits, and when you're starting them up, they don't pay a lot.
Yeah, you get to do some of this. You get to ride the bull, you know, you get to ride the bull.
There's some funks, and it's definitely not like, you know, it's not the military. It's not, you know, at upper echelon leadership where that paycheck twice a month. It's definitely not that, but it's
faith. It's kingdom.
It's a beautiful thing to really hone in my faith. And I know he's friending me.
Yeah.
And my wife and teaching my kids to see, it's like, okay, like how am I reflecting Christ to my kids right now? Cause I'm like, you know, whatever hard thing, got a flat tire, the power steering went out on my truck or whatever it is. I mean, we went to Vegas. I saw you in Vegas at SHOT Show, dude. There was some ministry that happened. We were
outstanding.
There was Bible studies that we were doing in our room every morning. There was guys getting witness to at the bars at night. Like there was crazy, like God was moving. It was an amazing thing. And I think I came back from that a little cocky. That was a mountaintop experience for sure, because I just felt like I felt great. And I think I started taking a little bit more credit for it. And I'll tell you what God does when that arrogance starts popping up. My point right here. Can you see my hand right there?
Yeah.
The black pipe, and then all these black pipes through here.
Yeah.
Those are full of like toilet stuff.
Yeah.
I came home and there was a backup in that completely and utterly backed up. And one of the most humbling moments of my entire life was just only a couple days ago there, Byron.
Yeah.
Where that came out of my hand as I was trying to loosen it up. And I wore what's all over in those pipes, all over myself. 50 gallons, Byron. That humbled me out.
God bless you. God bless you, man. God bless you. That's
goes
tough,
to God
buddy.
only. And I saw Satan in every single one of those little brown things popped out of there. And like, you're worthless. Ha!
Yeah, that's tough.
It was bad. It was just really bad. And my two boys were sitting right next to me, and I'm on the ladder and I'm catching it all in the face. Like it was so bad.
I can't imagine, bro. This is horrible. Like I don't even want to talk about it. It's so bad, dude.
But I gotta tell you, my boys were watching me mortified. Like, oh no, like to explode.
Yeah.
Like literally to its molecular level. And I looked at him, I'm like, well, at least none of us are going to forget this moment.
That's good, dude. That's awesome.
Dude.
That's amazing. I lost my notes.
Now they're laughing at it. I'm trying to laugh with them, but it's way too soon.
But it's too horrible, bro. All right. So you mentioned while you were running through there as we start wrapping this up, one of the things I definitely wanted to hit on was spiritual disciplines, homie. Like, let's talk a little bit about those spiritual disciplines, man. I think it's a cheat code. It's a superpower. So what have you found to be super effective for what? What would you say to someone who's like, I want to get stronger spiritually?
So I mean, you're not supposed to talk about it, but I think guys need to know about it. And I was actually looking back on it just earlier today. It's like, well, we're not supposed to talk about it, but we should, because how else are people going to know about it? So I'm fasting today, right? And I do a 24-hour fast. So my fast starts last night after dinner, and I break fast for dinner tonight. And so I'm currently fasting, and that's one of the strongest and most effective spiritual discipline. That's frontline battle right there.
Yep.
And with that, you need now. So if I'm on frontline battle fasting and I'm just hand to hand, just like ripping faces and doing MacGruber throat rips and getting the turkey on it and everything.
Yeah.
I would say the next spiritual discipline where it'd be like your primary weapon system rifle, or you got your pistol, or you go to the K-bar. Yeah. You've got praying without ceasing, taking every thought captive, and seeking first his kingdom. Those are my 3 go-tos. I seek first his kingdom every day, the moment I wake up. And I'm going to say, I miss it. Sometimes I miss it. So my aspirations are, before my feet touch the ground, every single morning, Heavenly Father, Lord of hosts, sovereign God of gods, commander of angel armies, this day is yours, not mine. Take it from me. I embrace and just look forward to serving you today. Feet touch the ground, go make coffee, get in the word, and start praying without ceasing throughout the entire day. My days have been so much better. I don't get mad at the little things. I don't get frustrated. I'm like, what's God teaching me right now?
Yeah.
Seeking first his kingdom. I wasn't doing that. Yeah. He blew a motor on my truck. Cool.
Well,
he threw sewage all over my face in my gym. Cool.
Walk by the Spirit, and you don't fulfill the lust of the flesh, right? So when we're operating at that realm in the Spirit, that's what staves off all of our fleshly desires, our fleshly tendencies, our fleshly knee-jerk reactions. Those are those times where you get through the day and you weren't tempted like how you normally would be tempted. Or if you were, it just looked cheap because you're like, dude, I'm like getting downloads from the Father right now. I'm not messing this up. Like, stop. Like, it's so cheap. It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, and you're in those zones. And I will 100% second you on the fasting. I think that we should be living a fasted life. I will go anything from 13. I've gone 40 days at the beginning of a year. I'm going to do that again. I'm starting to get scared of it again. If I get scared of it, I got to do it. But every year, massive fast, guide vision, listen to the Lord. Fasting crucifies the flesh. So you've got all these voices inside you, bro. You know what I'm saying? And so you're looking at your phone. There's fleshly stuff, lust of the eyes, lust of the flesh, pride of life. Those are like your 3 kind of major categories of sin. Fasting hits like almost all of them. You know what I mean? So like your most primal voice, the lust of the flesh, food, all this, you're taking control of that and you're silencing it. It's just leaving space for the Father, communion with the Father. You're hungry, you're praying without ceasing. You're pressing in, and you're going to run on spirit now rather than your body. Not to mention the fact your body's like an antenna. We fill it with so much garbage. We don't even work properly to be able to even pick up the frequency of God 90% of the time. This is awesome. Well, what else would you say? But you mentioned a few things. I want to make sure we flush out those things you were talking about. Fasting, capturing thoughts. Bro, come on. This is massive, dude. We got to touch on a little bit.
It's not just letting it be a little thing. Yeah. Like as the thought comes in, we're fail. I'm failing at it today I did.
Constantly.
I had that little thought about like talking about fasting. Like, well, we're not supposed to talk about it. We're not supposed to tell people about it. That was that small thought. That was that I was taking that thought captive in actually entertaining it and speaking with it into it. But I'm holding it up to God. I'm holding up to Yahweh, and like, okay, so what does this mean? Sure enough, here we are talking about it. I had no idea we were going to talk about spiritual disciplines or fasting or any of that. And so taking it captive just helps you to marinate on it together and under mentorship of the King of Kings.
Right.
Like that doesn't suck when you're actually like calibrating yourself to that thought process of taking those thoughts captive and holding it with him. Like, bro, stand by for rad.
Yeah, I mean, that's the way you level up, is because the Bible talks about the mind being the battleground, and these strongholds, taking every thought captive and every imagination captive. These are all Bible verses, my man. So it's like, this is where the war. You're supposed to be transformed by the renewing of your mind, not being conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Mind being your mind, your will, your emotions, your soul, your imaginations, which is what we want to be in alignment with our spirit, with the Spirit of God inside of us. And so capturing these thoughts is massive, because this is where it starts. And Satan is over here freaking shooting these fiery darts, and that's why you got to put the helmet of salvation on. You gotta put the armor on, because they're always coming in, and they're always coming through the eye gates. These darts are coming in. What was that? You're like, maybe we'll talk about fasting. Satan was literally like, he was like, please don't, because he was like, so he shot in a religious thought. Maybe it would stop you from ministering now and equipping.
Satan attacked Jesus with scripture. He's the word. He attacked him with himself.
Yeah, bro. Every 3 times in a row, bro.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I actually heard somebody say this not too long ago, but I mean, I still say it. But this guy said the opposite is like, oh, you took the armor off. Because everybody's always saying like, put on the armor of God. And I'm always saying that, but I said it in front of one dude and he's like, so you took that armor off, huh? Well, that was weird. Why would you do that? The fight is consistent. The fight is always and forever until we go home, until we're actually through the gates that will protect you from it forever and ever. Don't take it off.
Heck yeah. I love it. What would you say is the greatest thing that God delivered you from? As a strong man, as a Navy SEAL, what would you say that? Yeah,
he delivered me from myself and the idolatry that I had, which was my guns, my car, and my trophy wife, and that I could care less about the way I treated her. And then biggest, baddest thing is that golden calf that I wore on my chest.
Yeah,
that was it. That was number one in my life.
Yeah,
and that's what he delivered me from. And I've got this painting on my phone that Brad Geary, he took a picture of and sent it to me. And this, if anybody's ever heard Brad Geary's testimony that he did at, it was one of those big churches in San Diego. He talks about this painting. So he went and sat down with an artist and explained this vision that he has. And it's about putting the trident at the foot of the cross. And the painting is this operator like on a mountain, and there's the feet of Jesus on the cross, and his like hand is like right underneath his feet because he's pinning. Because like anytime somebody dies in the teams, you go to the funeral, you put the trident in the coffin. That's what he was doing on the cross, and it broke him. And then you see, if anybody's tracking who Brad Geary is, he went through like 3 years of just torment in the teams because a Bud student ended up dying under his command at Bud's, and he didn't do what the Navy wanted him to do. He opened the can of worms because God said, do it. And he did. That man.
Christ saved a lot of lives.
I will follow that man anywhere. Straight up and down. And lots of things are happening with him and for him, and he's being blessed. And I'm absolutely confident in it. And so anybody that has Brad Geary on their heart to pray for him, send it. Full send. Yeah. God saved me from myself and the idolatry that I was killing myself with. Straight up.
and those connected to you, because that's what men do. We're like the sun in an ecosystem. Yep. If you're healthy, if you're healthy, your land's healthy.
I would pull people in. I would get new guys in my platoon that were believers. I'm like, who's a Christian? Cool. Christian? Yeah, come here. Wow. Let's go over the berm. Like, you think you're tough? You nice guy? Like, oh, this guy thing like that. And that was my thing. That's what kept me out of church and caring about anything. It's like a bunch of nice guys, dude. Like, what do they make out of the closet? What's up?
Yeah.
No.
We got to be savages for that job.
No, dude. Like, that's the most warrior is God-fearing men. Folks that actually like follow Christ to the T. Those are the warriors that just read about David and his mighty men.
Yeah, 100%. Last question. Why Jesus? I know a lot of people like to ask this question. They're like, I'm good with God. Like, I'm good with God, but like, why Jesus? You know?
Because he's real.
Yeah.
Because he's as real today as he was circa 2,000 years ago. And if he is who he says he is, then why would you not? And if he wasn't even close, like if he wasn't who he said he was, then it's crazy and it's all for nothing. But he's real. And I found that out that night, a bottle of whiskey and that burning knife, and he laid his hands on me, and that name is the most powerful name in the world, and you can see it in people's faces every time you say it. There's demons in there; they'll shudder when you see it.
Yep, 100%. There's power there, man. Absolutely. It's just he's real to all of us, and there's a reason for that, you guys. Solid, man. Go ahead, send it. You got something?
It's so simple, and if the more convoluted you make it, the more complex. Like, that's what the enemy does. He makes things complex. The gospel is simple. Jesus is simple. It's all so very simple. It's when guys start taking it out of context or trying to add things to it, it's over, man. It's a relationship with Christ. He's your Lord and your Savior, and he just wants you swinging an axe next to him.
Yep. There's no better place to be. Heck yeah, brother. Well, this has been awesome, man. Dude, I think we laid down some savage bars. Thank you so much for just being vulnerable and being honest and being a man of God, being exemplary in all these ways. As we roll out, where can people find you? What are you up to? I think there might be, is it worth mentioning the Free Burma Rangers as well? Giving them a shout out in here, or?
Absolutely. Yeah. FBR, Free Burma Rangers. Check them out online. I mean, you Google it, Dave Eubank's going to pop up, and FBR doing awesome things. So I'm a part of warriorsrise.org. You can get on, you can check out what we're doing. But honestly, best way to do that is just hit a train button and then give your explanation on what you're interested in doing. Because we all enjoy just putting the stuff together and like coming up with something. I don't like the cookie cutter stuff. It gets kind of boring, but
fast.
If guys want to train and they want to come up to God's country, we've got great facilities, we've got great capabilities, and we have a very good time. You want to bring your families, full send. I bring my kids with me. We do Sons of the King, we do Daughters of the King, and it's all things with dads and their kids, boy or girl, and we get after it on horses, on dirt bikes. We get some shooting, rappelling, and do all sorts of good stuff. So that's what we're doing. We're mentoring, focusing on the young men for the nonprofit side, but then everybody that wants to get after some training for the LLC side, get on the website. But yeah, we're doing all that at bouldercreekretreat.com as well. You can check out their facility. They're up and coming on just a really, really good spot. They'll do some training out there. They've got retreats. So we're working in cahoots with them.
Awesome, man. Well, send me the links so I can put it all in the show notes. And dude, I love what you're doing. It's an honor. You know that we're going to be doing some similar things here with the Man of Peace Project. So we'll probably meet in the middle somewhere, man, and get down. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
Ultimately, man, thanks so much for your time, your attention, focus, and your testimony, man. It's awesome. God is good, man. Thank you. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God. Let's go. Yo, and real quick, we got to give G9 a shout out, bro. Tell him some stuff about G9. What's up?
Hands down, best ammunition I've ever been involved with. That's all I carry. I find out that my friends are not carrying G9. I fix that immediately. You can actually get online and order G9 ammo. Get the external hollow point. 9mm is doing gangster boogie. Right
Yeah,
there.
bro.
That G9 9mm does the same damage that a 308 will do in soft tissue. It's unparalleled to anything that's on the market. We just got back from SHOT Show this last week. Yeah, stand by for the market to be changed and shifted hard and fast. You can use Warriors Rise as a discount code when you check out at g9defense.com. Full send, get it and protect. It's the safest ammo out there. Fact.
I love it. Fact, man. Fact. And that's what I carry too, y'all. In case you've been wondering, bro. Let's go. Boom.
Boom! Quick shout out to our sponsor, Staccato. My first pistol sponsor. I've been sponsored by a lot of companies, right, over the years. But when it comes to pistol, that's my bread and butter. Pistol is something I believe in. You know, I'm a competitive shooter. You know, we're shooting anywhere from, 800 rounds a month type of thing, right? So Staccato, being what I believe, is one of, if not the most complete handguns you can put in your hand. It's got every component that a handgun could have, should have. They're actually extremely dependable now that they've made some changes, and these things are straight up tack drivers. If you're looking for a pistol that will do as much of the work for you as a piece of hardware can, obviously you have to have the marksmanship and all the different things, but different guns perform at different levels. And I want to say that Staccato is one of, by far, for sure, take it from a competitive shooter, we're shooting the highest volumes of rounds constantly right now. Not used to have a background guy, but like right now, when you go shoot, you're going to see certain brands. Staccato is one of, if not the highest performing firearm that is both CCW, duty ready, and also competitive ready. So I want to give them a shout out. If you guys are looking for a good handgun to build your skills on top of, go check out Staccato. Much love and respect. Boom. When it comes to the technology you use to protect your home, there's nothing better than Deep Sentinel. AI-driven, human-monitored technology that will keep you and your family safe for the same price you're paying for whatever Ring doorbell system you have. Check out Deep Sentinel. It's such an honor to join forces with these guys. They should be in every single house in the world. Get real-time Overwatch for you and your loved ones. And for 10% off, depending on when you're watching this, don't forget to use code Byron at checkout.
Blessed are the peacemakers, for they will be called sons of God.